Warmly welcome to this information meeting about Indo-Swedish cooperation. It's wonderful to have you joining both virtually and physically this time. I'm Malin Petersen, Country Manager for India at Vinnova, Sweden's innovation agency. Sweden and India are long-term partners on innovation. Numerous Swedish and Indian actors have already come together in joint R&D projects. Actors within private and public sectors, academia and civil society. Vinnova wishes to engage you in innovation and collaboration to meet societal challenges. India truly has a rattling startup scene. India has risen from a few hundred to 70,000 startups in the last 8 years. A massive increase. India is being recognized as the fastest growing startup ecosystem. The unicorn wave in India is going strong. And as you may know, a unicorn refers to a startup valued at more than $1 billion. And the Indian startup ecosystem gives birth to a new unicorn every 2 weeks. India now has an impressive 100 plus unicorns. Sweden is a top nation for innovation. Number 1 in the recently published European Innovation Scoreboard for 2022. Sweden is a tech haven. Spotify, Klarna, Oatly and Mojang paved the way, and many more innovative solutions are following to improve life for people and the planet. Molecular engineering, nutrition data, energy reuse, and game development. Whatever your sustainability challenge, a Swedish company, startup, or research team is ready to match your ambition. The bubbling tech scene is scouting for motivated talents. Maybe your future fantasy will end up as the next Swedish unicorn. Sweden's on track to become the first carbon neutral country by 2045.
There is still more fear of social changes than of climate change. International negotiations are still about cost sharing and how painful a transition could be. But now we can see a mind shift in the business sector, and also among more and more politicians. Going fossil-free is no longer seen as a burden, but as a way to move forward, to create new business opportunities. Many companies are in a hurry to transform because they have realized that they will not be part of the market 2035 unless they are fossil-free. And now they put the pressure on the government to take important decisions much faster. Suddenly, climate policy has turned into business policy.
It's mutually beneficial for the Swedish and Indian innovation systems to connect. Together, we can take on the challenges of today. A first step for you could be to join our LinkedIn group, Sweden-India Innovation Initiative. In this group, you get updates on upcoming funding opportunities, events, and you can also get help with finding a partner in India or Sweden. Feel free to post information about what you're looking for in a partner organization. You may also post info on events you're organizing. Participating in today's info meet is, of course, also a step in the same direction. You will get information about the delegation trips connecting the Indian and Swedish innovation systems, as well as information on support and funding offers and upcoming activities in Indo-Swedish cooperation. You may pose questions to the speakers using Menti. Please go to www.menti.com and enter the code 11 92 73.8. Now to the first session of today, connecting the Indian and Swedish innovation systems. And our first speaker is Cecilia Oldne, Senior VP at Sweden-India Business Council and Head of Sweden-India Tech Community. Welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you, Malin. It's great to be here today. Good morning, Sweden, and good afternoon, India. I live in Mumbai since 15 years. I'm Swedish though, and one thing that I live for is connecting Sweden and India. So it's a great pleasure to be here today and make this happen even more. Sweden-India Business Council, for you who don't know, is a network that work with members in Sweden. We help them in India. Maybe more like a network connecting the right people and the right companies with each other to enable opportunities, and in particular in the Sweden-India Business Corridor. We have about 150 members, and we're also secretary for India-Sweden Business Leaders Roundtable, which is a roundtable and a network that was started by the respective prime ministers. This has about 40 Swedish CEOs and 20 Indians, and 4 co-working groups: digitization, skilling, defense, and smart cities. Baba Kalyani is our co-chair on the Indian side, and Marcus Wallenberg on the Swedish side. We're also the secretary for the Sweden-India Innovation and Transport and Safety Platform. But to connect these large corporates with the CEOs, the government, and so on, we created Sweden-India Tech Community, which is today also 150 individual constellation of everything from scale-ups to startups, to grown-ups, to academia, media, investors, influencers, and it also has, of course, the governmental bodies a part of it. And how we work in this ecosystem is that we have a lot of activities, networking events, but also very important, what I'm going to talk more about today, is that we create delegations from Sweden to India and from India to Sweden. And what's coming up now on the 16th to the 21st of October is a delegation that is going to be to Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Bangalore this year. And well, what's happening in short is that the delegates will be not only meeting very interesting everything from unicorn founders, investors, incubators, be a part of a networking event, including at the Consul General Anna Lekwal's house in Mumbai, a very important influential person in Hyderabad, Ravi Reddy. And also we're going to do an event in Bangalore ourselves with the AN Robotics Park, and that is going to be at the Institute of Science. So we look forward to, of course, having this delegation coming up. There is still space to be part of it. So if you're interested, do reach out to us at info@sibc.se or connect with me. If you want to be a part of the Sweden-India Tech Community, which is a very happening kind of a red carpet to India and vice versa, then please also reach out to me. I'm a bit selective on who I let in, but there is room. And then, of course, you can always be a member of Sweden-India Business Council. We'll be very happy to help you in India and open up our network and help you with anything that you might want help with, if I put it that way. Of course, Vinnova, CISP, India Limited, and fellow speakers here today are a part of either Sweden-India Business Council, Sweden-India Tech Community, or will be joining us. And we're looking very much forward to that at the delegation coming up this month. So thank you. This is me for now. Any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. And we will come back to your questions to Cecilia in a moment. Please use Menti. The Menti code is 1192-738. With that, we move on to our next speaker on the same topic of delegation trips connecting the Indian and Swedish innovation systems. Please welcome Rupali Deshmukh, Country Manager India at IVL, Swedish Environmental Institute. Could we please have the slides back up? Wonderful, thank you.
Hi, myself Rupali Deshmukh. I represent IVL Swedish Environmental Research Institute. I'm a country manager and I also CEO of IVL India. So I am going to tell you brief about the Smart City Roadshow, which we are planning early next year. You can see the date we have planned for February 13 to 16 and why Smart City, and so I would like to answer your questions. So why Smart City we have decided for this roadshow? Let me take a step back to make you understand why smart city. So we all understand the situation we are going through, climate change, and we are all committed to work on that. So what could be the better than implementing the action for climate change in our city? And why so? If you see, the cities are the key contributor for the greenhouse gas emissions, 75%. I have given a number there. And we feel we really have to take the action and make our city more sustainable, more smarter and carbon neutral. Not to carbon neutral, but reduce the carbon footprint of our city. And how can we do that? By implementing a smarter and innovative solution. If you see, India is a very big and very committed to work on a climate change issue. India's approach for the growth will play a very important role in a climate change. And Indian side is very keen to work with the international actor, focusing on the smart cities and other initiatives. And they have the huge budget and running few initiatives focusing on smart cities. So I think this is really good opportunity for Sweden, and Sweden is also committed to handhold the few cities in India which want to implement the innovative solution from Sweden to India and make their cities more sustainable. So the plan is to take the Swedish delegation to India, and this delegation we are planning for Mumbai, Pune, Panjim and Delhi. And why we have selected those cities? Because those cities are in focus in implementing the smart city solution and also committed to the India's green transition. The aim of our trip or our roadshow is to connect the authorities, innovators, stakeholders, researchers from Indian side, like we are talking about Western India and Delhi this time, to the Swedish innovator researcher companies to accelerate the development of sustainability and environment within the cities. We believe that the solution has to be developed on ground, because smart city solution which will be suited for one city will not be suited for another city. So both the researchers from both sides has to work together to develop the right solution for that particular city. And now the smart city is really broad concept. So we cannot work on all the verticals within the smart city this time. So we have decided to keep our focus on water, wastewater management, waste management, mobility, transportation and energy. So these are the four sub-theme we have decided to focus for this roadshow. And what we would bring on a table, that both the side would know their status on smart city, what India needs, what Sweden can offer. So that type of discussion we would like to bring it on table during this roadshow. There will be the good transfer of technologies, knowledge for effective and efficient implementation of action for a smart city, focusing on the climate change. Of course, we will discuss the emerging business model and business challenges during our roadshow. So this roadshow will be led by my institute, IVL, Swedish Environmental Research Institute, together with Vinnova and Consulate General of Sweden, Mumbai, and will be supported by Smart City Sweden, Business Sweden, Swedish Incubator and Science Park, IVL India, Embassy of Sweden and Ignite Sweden. So I would like to invite all the Swedish actor who has a innovative solution or research going on within the smart city on the mentioned areas to come and join us for this roadshow to share their expertise, views and experiences to with a counterpart. So what you have to do, you just have to show the interest by login on this link. I think Malin will share this link with you all. So this is for Swedish side, not for Indian side. Just express your interest for this road show. And there is also a possibility for Swedish side to get the 25,000 SEK grant to cover your travel cost to India from Vinnova. To know more about this travel grant, please get in touch with Malin, so she will give you more information. And any other question if you have regarding the Smart City Road Show, please get in touch with me or my colleague Gina at Smart City Sweden. She also works at IVL. So please get in touch with us, and we hope you found this is interesting, and we are looking forward to take you to India on this roadshow. Thank you so much. Thanks, Malin.
Thank you very much, Rupali. Excuse me. Really interesting. We'll come back to you shortly, Rupali. But first we will turn to Ulf Borbos, International Program Manager at Swedish Incubators and Science Parks. We are also organizing delegation trips together. Please share.
Thank you. So, my name is Ulf Borbos. I'm the International Project Manager at an organization called SISP. It's called Swedish Incubator and Science Parks, and we work with those innovation environments in Sweden that is a part of the innovation arenas that keep Sweden on a top level of innovation in a global perspective. To continue this, we have prepared this kind of cooperation between interesting and strategic selected countries. So Sweden and India is of course one of the strategic countries to cooperate with. And we are focusing on developing our ability to improve the way we co-create with other markets. By being better at co-creation, we can also be better of being a good innovation country. And of course, we need to do that with those markets that are strategically selected by Sweden. This is also an activity that has been appointed as a strategic activity over a long term for our innovation environments in Sweden. As you can see on this picture, you can see our cooperation partners. IVL that Rupali described is of course one of our big cooperators, but we also have the embassy in India that helping us a lot with the connections, and also we have Business Sweden that we do a lot of cooperation, especially when it comes to those scale-up companies that are in our environments here in Sweden. And also they have an interesting network, and same with IVL, interesting network that we can share with each other. And we also have Vinnova, who's a strategic partner for creating a good innovation environment here in Sweden. So, here you have them. So, why is this activity being done? Well, as you can see, we are trying to increase and continue to have a high ability to create and co-create with other countries. And by increasing the knowledge among the people who work with innovation inside of our innovation environments, we want to create a stable foundation of how we can cooperate with India. By being good at cooperating with India, we can also provide our partners in India with good companies, good way of doing big, interesting projects. For instance, the project we're talking about was water problems, for instance, or creating a sustainable society in the long term. To understand each other's problems and abilities, we need to create relations between each other that are functional, and we can also create interesting projects together based on the knowledge about each other. As you can see on the last point here, we can prepare upcoming projects together that is adopted to the calls that are coming in between these countries. So, if I summarize this, it's a way of keeping Sweden as #1 of innovation countries in the world. So, here is the delegation trips we are trying to perform. The upcoming is in December this year, week 49. So it's combined with these Nobel activities that we are having in India. We will start in Delhi And then I put a plus there because I know that there's a lot of cities that we need to explore, but I haven't defined them really yet because it's based on who is coming on this delegation trip, and we close it on the 9th of October. And depending on what our participants in the delegation, what needs they have and what they want to achieve, we are trying to make a delegation trip that is specially adopted to what they want to achieve. So it's a special learning journey. The next trip is in week 26 next year in June, and that is combined with this East India ship.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Gothenburg.
Yeah. This is also for the Swedish partners who wants to apply for this. It's still open until Sunday. Takes around 45 minutes to fill in the application. I can assure you that it's worth the money or the time. And this is my connection if you have questions or want further information. Thank you, and I really hope to see you in India in December, and I'm hoping for a successful and learning journey there. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, please stay around if you stay here, and we can welcome Rupali back up, and we'll get Cecilia back as well online. Thank you very much again for your presentations. You said that you both said that the deadline for submitting an expression of interest is already this Sunday, but is it just as easy to register for your delegation trip, Rupali?
It is very easy. Like, I don't think we need a 45 minutes really. So it's really easy. Just go log in, read the information. It is very interesting. And as of now, because Ulf delegation is just in December and mine is February, so we might extend the date. But as of now, we have 9th of October. That we have to discuss together if we extend a date or not.
Thank you very much. Those 45 minutes may include go and grab a coffee before you finalize.
It's based on data, in fact, because my system says the average time of responding to this is defined, so I can base its facts.
Yes, thank you very much. And Cecilia, your SciTech group is really successful. Congratulations. How many members do you have so far?
So we have 150 today, and it's about 50% Indian, 50% Swedish, 50% men, 50% women, and as mentioned earlier, it's everything from startups, scale-ups, grown-ups, media, academia, governmental bodies, investors, influencers. So it's a very strong network, and of course we will engage the whole network in our delegation. And I don't think it takes more than a minute to register for ours. The only thing, of course, that needs to be done, considering our delegation is coming up now on the 16th of October, is booking the flight. And we still have the room still at Soho House in Mumbai. We'll be staying, and at the other hotels in Hyderabad and Bangalore as well, and the domestic flights. But literally, it's just to take a decision and make sure that you don't miss out on an opportunity like ours to come to India, this India startup ecosystem and tech delegation.
Thank you, Cecilia. And I'm looking here at your questions as well. Rupali, you mentioned how you went about choosing the cities, but Ulf, how did you go about choosing the cities?
I mean, from the beginning, we have this Delhi trip, and then we will select it based on the thematic areas that we have defined from the beginning, because it's digitalization and AI, the first one. So we hope that the focus knowledge of our delegation will also be based on that. Then we will, of course, select the cities based on who is fitting our needs the best. And to do that, I failed to mention that we also work, of course, with Sweden-India Business Council, which is an important network for us. But we have Indian partners that will help us to select this. And I mean, IVL has a splendid network, Business Sweden has a splendid network. So we will reuse the knowledge. And this is one of the things we also need to improve from. when we are working inside our innovation system in Sweden, we need to use the already established links better. So that's also a learning part of, from our perspective on these trips. So more efficient system from our side.
Thank you, Ulf. We have one question that goes, is there any opportunity for startup in the field of Industry 4.0? And Ulf, you mentioned that the first delegation trip in December will focus on digitalization and AI, and so that could be one option.
Absolutely. We have, in fact, I would say that the delegation will probably be half of the delegation will be companies. Half of it will be actors that work inside of the innovation system. And I think this combination is also, during the trip, there will be also a discussion between these two actors that will improve the knowledge of needs, how we can support each other in the best way. We who work here in Sweden, we should be very good at doing our preparation of the companies, but there are actors in India that will take care of them in a good way. So this is the way we want the system to work in the future.
Thank you very much. And the trip you're organizing in June to Chennai, that's rather close to Bangalore, a really interesting city if you're interested in Industry 4.0, and so that could definitely be an option for us.
The selection of these other cities will be done based on those kind of evaluations, of course. And I know Bangalore, if you read a lot about Indian innovation cities and those things, so Bangalore pops up quite often, I would say.
Yes. We also have a question. It goes, what is the main target for collaboration? Is it companies or universities or research institutes or all? I'll hand over to you, Rupali. What's your target group?
We are targeting everyone because we are not just talking about developing business. We are talking about innovative partnership, research partnership. And as I mentioned that, smart city solution has to develop for a local condition. So they need to meet, they need to have that interaction, and this type of delegation visit can become the bridge to bring both sides together. So it is for everyone, startups, companies, big, small, researcher, innovator, everyone are welcome.
Come together in collaboration for innovation.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. And same goes for Ulf's. For Ulf's. I just merged your two names. Maybe that's a good team here going on.
Exactly.
Okay. No, great. That was all the questions we have for now. I thank you once again, and please stay around. We will have a short Swedish, or not short, long Swedish fika afterwards for those of you who have joined physically. So you feel free to approach our speakers.
Thank you, Malin.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you. Great. With that, we move on in our agenda. You may continue to post questions using Menti. Our next session is on support and funding offers. And our first speaker is Miss Jenny Kjellberg, Program Manager at Business Sweden. Welcome to share information about your funding offers.
Yes, thank you, Malin.
Or sorry, not funding, your kind of support, your support.
How we could support from Business Sweden. Very good to be here. So I'm Jenny Kjellberg from Business Sweden, and I'm part of an ecosystem or group that is called Smart Industry. So I will present our services and how we could support. So Business Sweden, for those of you who do not know, is jointly owned by the Swedish state and the Swedish business sector. We have around 500 employees, with the big majority of them based in our local offices. So around 400 are based in our offices, from San Francisco in the west to Sydney in the east, from Luleå, that's not showing on the map, in the north, to Santiago in the south. And of course, we are present in India. Our mission is to grow global sales for Swedish companies and also to facilitate investments in Sweden. So how do we do this? Well, we have our 40 plus offices, and we support with market expansion, sales acceleration, business to government questions on that specific market. And there's also an opportunity to sit at our office if you are starting up in a new country and you don't really have an office yet. So you can sit at our facilities, and we can also support with HR questions, financing, finance questions, etc. But I will go a bit more into details about our services that could be relevant for you. So, first of all, we have export coaching. That is one-to-one coaching with me or one of my colleagues, supporting you in building your business plan and export plan, like what markets to target, etc. We also have export validation that's more go, no-go questions, like my product is CE marked. Will that be sufficient for entering the Indian market? So you can have a fast reply, or no, you have to add additional certifications, or whatever the question might be. We also have, and those two they are free of charge. We also have some subsidized projects that could be export projects. If you've decided to enter the Indian market, you are interested to maybe find some partners, and then we could support you from our Indian offices to find those partners and build those contacts. We also have export promotion activities, being part of exhibitions, delegations, and we also have a export department, the technical department here, based here in Sweden. If you have specific questions on I mean, exporting to this country, what kind of papers do I need? What are the rules, customs procedures, and delivery terms, etc. But what I think is most relevant for you listening to this, being part of the startup scene, is the two programs we have for startups and scale-ups. It's the LEAP program and the Catalyst. So the LEAP is export coaching in a team. So we group around 3 companies together, and we do this process together. And you also share information because you have so much to learn from each other. And we support you during 3 workshops. The first one is about market prioritization, followed by the second one, go-to-market plan, and then the third one is presentation, and you get feedback from the other participants. And also we have a Catalyst that is more like the dragon's nest. So you have an investment committee, and you have your company, and you're pitching your company to this investment committee. And you get, if you're one of the, it's 6 companies at a time, and 3 of them do get selected. And if you are selected, you have to pay a fee for about 30,000, but in return you get projects worth 250,000. So that's there are many companies that are really interested in this offering. That could the project could be going to the targeted market and meet with potential partners and customers, and organized by Business Sweden. And we also have a digital tool if you want to see more about the Go Global journey. So I strongly recommend you to apply to these programs if you're interested to go global. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you very much. And we will come back to you shortly again. Feel free to post questions to Jenny using the Menti code 119273.8. With that, we move on, and the turn has come to me to share some funding offers. It's the next request for proposals within the India-Sweden Collaborative Industrial Research and Development Program. This is a collaboration between Vinnova and DST, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. We will fund the Indo-Swedish collaboration within the areas of sustainable cities, mobility, digitalization, and AI. We will fund R&D projects creating possibilities for new knowledge, products, services, or processes, eventually leading to commercialization. The products may be up to 2 years long. This call is targeting companies in Sweden and India looking to cooperate. But we truly encourage other actors, such as universities or research institutes, to also take part in the project. The funding available on the Swedish side is 2.5 million Swedish crowns going to the Swedish part of the project. Indian participants in the project will receive funding from the Indian funding agency. So this information here concerns Swedish participants. So Swedish companies are expected to co-finance their eligible costs with 50%, while universities and research institutes may get up to 100% of their eligible costs. Public sector may receive up to 80%. And I'm going to look into the possibilities for startups fulfilling certain criteria to perhaps get a bit more funding than companies in general, but I'm not sure about that yet. This is a tentative timeline, and I repeat, tentative. It's very tentative. The information you receive now is a pre-announcement. So we're sharing the information we have at hand today, but it's a work in progress. The announcement will be at the very earliest, the 27th of October. And this date, it's not just any date, but the date for an event you will learn more about shortly. So by then, hopefully, we can at least share more information about the timeline. The closing of the call will hopefully be end of March or slightly later, perhaps. And the reason I wish for this timeline is that we really want, on the Swedish side, we really want for the projects to start before the end of the year. Next year, that is, next year. All right. But that's not all. We also have an upcoming call within health for Indo-Swedish research and development projects. That call is, the planning of that call has not come as far as the one I just shared info about, but in the meantime, until we can share more info, feel free to go to Vinnova's webpage and look at the call text for the last call, the last Indo-Swedish call within health, and you can get guidance on how we designed the call last time, and that will give you, in fact, give you really good guidance on what it will look like. But I will come back to you when I have more information about this call. It can hopefully open early next year with project start early 2024. So keep an eye out on our webpage, or please join the LinkedIn group where I will post more information as soon as I have it. And this health call, it's a call between Vinnova and DBT, the Indian Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. And you may pose questions on these funding opportunities using Menti. The code is 11 9273-8. One last funding opportunity for today is a current call for India, organized by STINT, the Swedish Foundation for International Cooperation in Research and Higher Education. It's initiation grants for startup of new projects between Swedish and Indian universities. It covers mobility in both directions. Projects may be up to 1 year long. The available funding is 150,000 Swedish crowns, and the deadline is 8th of November next month. STINT also have these 4 programs, more permanent programs, who are also applicable for cooperation with India. The first one is startup of balanced international projects, initiation grants. And the second one is supporting internationalization of education. It's grants for educational collaboration programs and grants for teaching sabbaticals. The third one is establishing excellent international collaborations. It's mobility grant. And the fourth one is supporting the university leadership's internationalization efforts, a strategic grant. I'd also very much like to recommend STINT's country report for India, containing information about the Indian knowledge system. And one thing that caught my interest was that Indo-Swedish co-publications had higher citation impact than of either one of the 2 countries, which means that by coming together, the quality of the research improved both on the Swedish and the Indian side. I have 5 hard copies with me. Please come up and grab one after the meeting if you're interested. The report is also available online. You could follow this QR code, for example. With that, I would like to proceed to our next information point here with my colleague at the Swedish Energy Agency, Ludwig Lindström, Country Manager for India. Welcome.
Thank you, Malin. Thank you. So I don't have any presentation, but I will try to give you an idea about our work in India. Anyway, we've been working in India since 2009 and running different programs related to waste energy, biofuels, smart cities, and so on. But what could be of interest here now today is the program called India-Sweden Innovations Accelerator. It's been going on since 2012. So actually today, this year, we're celebrating 10 years. Since start, we have introduced 60+ companies to the Indian market. The profile of the companies that we're looking for are, of course, energy-related companies. They're working with something related to the energy sector. Should be cutting-edge solutions from an Indian perspective. That is where the innovation angle comes in. And it has to be proven in some way in Sweden or other markets, but it has to have a new value of news to the Indian market and innovative in that sense. What we're doing for these companies that are selected, they are introduced over a process that span over 1.5 years, including 3 trips to India. Each year we're going with 2 delegations, spring and fall. And for each delegation, we bring in new companies. So for each delegation, we have 1 group going for the 3rd time, 1 going for the 2nd time, and 1 group of newcomers. The reason for that is also to cutting the learning curve for the companies and for them to faster get an understanding of the conditions on the Indian market. Our partners in this program are very important. Of course, they're very critical, I would say. It's Business Sweden in Delhi and Bangalore, and it's CII. So that is the strength of this program, I would say. We connect, it's a steadily ongoing connection between Sweden and India. And we bring the Swedish companies, and CII is our face to the Indian side. So for each and every company that we bring in to the company, we give them tailor-made meetings and throughout the delegation. And since it's about process-based learning curve, first trip is expected to be a lot of information, a lot of impressions, a lot of contacts. You don't know anything about India except that there is an opportunity here. And when you're finalizing the program, the objective is that you should be able to have developed your own network, your own contacts, prioritize contacts for further development. And for each delegation, we're visiting 2 cities for the whole delegation together. The rest of the program is tailor-made. So when we're traveling with 10 companies, we're actually having 10 different programs going to different cities, depending on the need for the specific company. Talking about the support we give, there is a financial support. You can apply for travel allowance grant for at 80,000 SEK, but that is not the actual value. The value is the network that we provide. And just to brag a little, just a few weeks back, 21st of September, we received some kind of national award for a high impact program under the presence of the Ministry of Power and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So that is, of course, give you some kind of indication that we have been quite successful. In this program, talking about results, out of these 60 plus companies that we have introduced, around 50% are still active one way or the other. Actually, most of them in commercial activities, commercial partnerships. But there are also pilot projects and so on. And looking at projects, last time we counted them, it was around 200 projects, specific projects on the ground in India. And that is actually conservative calculation. We have one company, they have three projects altogether involving 50 installations. We count that as 3, not as 50. So yeah, there is quite some impact from that program. And as I said, the value and the offer that is not the actual 80,000 SEK, it's the network that we provide.
Thank you very much, Ludwig. Could I please welcome Jenny back up? We have a few questions from the audience. Feel free to pose some more. I'll get the Mentico back up. All right. Did you mention, Ludwig, the next time to apply if you wish to take part?
Yeah, first we're going with the next delegation end of November, 9 companies going together. And then we're having continuous ongoing application, you could say. You go into our website, I will send you a link either through Martin or something. But we close for evaluation and selection in January, end of January, and then next time we close in end of August. We do the selection process and then we start preparing for the next delegation. So next delegation will be April-ish. So you can apply from now on, and we will close it for selection in January for the next delegation in April.
Thank you, Ludwig. And Jenny, how do one go about to apply from your support
Yeah, for the LEAP program or for export coaching, you go into our website and you add your company details. One thing I did not mention about the LEAP that I will add is that you need to have paying customers to qualify to the LEAP program, and 3 employees. That's the minimum requirements.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. And we also have a question, what are the areas that Indo-Swedish Cooperation Research Project will be in the next 2-3 years? At Vinnova, our focus in the coming 2-3 years will be on sustainable cities, mobility, digitalization and AI, as well as health. We find the combination of health, digitalization and AI really interesting. So these are the focus areas of Vinnova, and it's not just something that will come up, an idea will come up with ourselves. We have asked our partners in the system, but we are also eager to get your input. What areas would you like for us to focus on? So please feel free to reach out to us. Talking about reaching out, that is one of the questions we have received as well. How can one reach out to the speakers of today? After this meeting, I will send out the PowerPoint presentation to all of those of you who have registered for the meeting. If you did not, the PowerPoint will also be available on our webpage. I think if not all, at least most of the speakers are also part of the LinkedIn group, Sweden-India Innovation Initiative, so you can reach out for them there, of course. All right. I think that was all the questions we had from now, but feel free to reach out to us after the meeting, of course. Then we move on. Thank you once again, Ludwig, Jenny. And the last session for today is upcoming activities in Indo-Swedish cooperation. My first speaker is please Sanju Malhotra, CEO of India Unlimited. The floor is yours.
Okay, namaste. Good morning, good afternoon. Great to have you all here. I think it's I just wanted to touch base, Malin, and say that India has now been, it's number 44, I think, in the innovation index. So it's jumped almost 40, which is fantastic news. Sweden is number 3, of course, number 1 in Europe. And I think the possibilities when India and Sweden come together is really unlimited. And that's something that we have tried to focus on and try and build up over the years. This will be the 9th India-Sweden Innovation Day. And the idea is very much to amplify the work that's being done between all the actors and also showcase this both in both the sides, so that there is an exchange on both the sides. The thing is, we don't have much time because we're talking about the climate crisis and all the multiple crises, and now the energy crisis and the water crisis. So there's like endless crisis. So we really don't have much time, and I would say that all the stakeholders and actors here who are involved need to not only double, but maybe triple their capacity and actually their investments in the coming years for us to be able to reach our SDG goals. So time is critical, and we need all of you on board together, because collaboration and cooperation is the key to move forward. So on the 27th of October, we are going to have in person. We really want all of you to attend in person. It's been 2 years with the pandemic, so now is the time when we start recreating those networks and touching base again. So it's really important that as many of you can attend in person, please do. We'll be at the Radisson Blu waterfront. We will have 2 ministers, hopefully from both sides. We're waiting, of course, for the Swedish minister, the new one on innovation minister, to be announced. And then on the Indian side will be the Science and Technology Minister as part of the inauguration. And among others, Martin Lundstedt, the CEO from Volvo Group, and Peter Carlson from Northvolt are among some of the opening speakers in the CEO Roundtable. And we have a fantastic setup of speakers and sessions. The first, of course, will be energy. The Energy Agency is one of our main partners for the event. And the Indian-Sweden Innovations Accelerator, which celebrates 10 years this year, is the most successful partnership between Sweden and India. And they will highlight some of those success stories during that session. We will also focus on the Sweden-India tech community with Cecilia leading that. Every year she brings some of the most exciting tech companies that are looking at both India and Sweden. And so she's going to put together something really fantastic, and you're going to meet some new faces and some old faces there. We have the Sweden-India Innovation Partnership, which is the key partnership which is enabling all these discussions. Will be led by Eric Osted from the Ministry of Innovation. Always thankful to him, and of course the embassy in Swedish embassy in India that helps us put that whole session together, and will bring together some of the incubators parks and all that, and give some new dimensions to this partnership. The Innovation Day is brought together with the Embassy of India and Sweden-India Business Council and Confederation of Indian Industry as the three main enablers to make this day. But of course, it's also done in partnership with a number of other partners, like I mentioned, Energy Agency and Saab, and IVL is one of our partners, and we have many more, of course. Some of the other sessions I just wanted to quickly touch on. We talked about AI and digitalization, and there we have Art Park, which will be leading on that particular session. We will have a session on mobility and road safety, of course, because that's another crucial area led by Arti Davis and the CITES group. There will also be a specific session on health, and we're talking about health and innovation. There's also a health delegation that's going to India, so we're expecting them to actually come on board and talk a little bit about before their trip. Circular economy is a very important area when we're talking about, we're talking about cities, but here the focus will be of connecting it between water, waste, and fabrics. So there we have, among others, IKEA, H&M, IVL is going to lead on that, of course. So it's a really exciting day with a number of topics, but there is very important to understand there are links between all these topics. We can't solve things in their own silos. We have to come together and understand how things work together, and this will also help you unravel the mysteries of working with India or with Sweden. So it goes both ways. So really encourage you all to come, join. We have to do this together. There's no single actor or organization who can make this happen. So the more we work together, the more we can, achieve. That's the message, and warm welcome to the Innovation Day.
Thank you very much, Sanjo. And this is always a really successful event. I'm really looking forward to it, so I recommend you all to attend.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Just to end, I'd like to share a couple of upcoming events as well with you. The first one is Sweden Innovation Days, taking place on the 21st to 23rd of March next year. It's a global digital event organized by Vinnova and partners. And during this event, we will organize a session on Indo-Swedish cooperation within health. So I hope to see you all there as well. And the next information meeting on Indo-Swedish cooperation, like the one you attend today, takes place on Thursday, the 27th of April next year. It will be a Teams meeting focusing on EU funding, as well as the earlier mentioned bilateral funding within health. Please give us feedback on this meeting and input for the next using our short survey. That was all for today. Thank you very much for attending. See you next time. Mm.